Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Miguel Villalpando, Councilmember Luis Galindo, Member Jesus Roldán,
Present.
Councilmember Martha Garcia, Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Lorena Sendejas.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council? No one? Okay, we have one proclamation, Cesar Chavez month. Cesar Chavez month, March 2022. Whereas Cesar Chavez Estrada, a native Arizona born on March 31st, 1927, is celebrated as one of America's great Latino American civil rights activists, and whereas he was committed to organizing farm workers to advocate for safe and fair working conditions, reasonable wages, decent housing, and the elimination of child labor. And whereas Cesar Chavez and Latino community work together in the struggle for justice to defend the poor and return dignity, respect, and hope to workers. And whereas his nonviolent approach to creating social justice made him an exemplary role model for working people nationwide and resulted in improving the lives of many Americans. And whereas the life and service of Cesar Chavez continue to inspire us all to seek progress and justice by peaceful means. And whereas Cesar Chavez peacefully passed away in his sleep in April 23rd, 1923 in Yuma County, marking an end to an era of dramatic changes in American agriculture. And whereas the city of Somerton has previously dedicated a street, Cesar Chavez Avenue, in honor and in recognition of impact and deep roots left by Cesar Chavez in our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Gerardo Anaya of City of Somerton, hereby proclaim March 2022 as Cesar Chavez Month in the city of Somerton, and urge all citizens to reflect upon the important achievements of this great Arizona. And we have no one run for it, but tomorrow there's going to be an event, or is it tomorrow? Tomorrow, 9 a.m. So. We have two items in consent agenda. Approval of contract for paving preservation services with VSS International, American Pavement Preservation, and Holbrook Pavement for Slurry Seal, Polymer Modified Master Seal, Gilsonite Sealer Binder, and High Density Mineral BOD. Work in the amount of approximately $150,000, which includes mobilization costs. Item number 2, approval of Arizona Special Event License Application for Somerton Arts Festival on behalf of the City of Somerton for Saturday, April 23rd from 5 to 11 at Centennial Park in Somerton. Does any member of council wishes to remove an item from consent agenda? Is there a motion? Second. Motion by Councilwoman Garcia, second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Going to go to old business. Discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2022-001, a resolution of the mayor and council of City of Somerton, Arizona, adopting the development fees for public safety facilities, wastewater facilities, and transportation facilities with an effective date of May 16th, 2022.
Very last one, prior to the request to
Ben, can you hear us? I know there's some technical
Yes.
difficulties. Okay, there it is. Go ahead, Ben.
Right, Mayor, council members, thanks for having me again tonight. These are the same fees you've seen multiple times, as you can see on the adoption timeline. We've had a few public hearings on this. These are the same fees you've seen at the previous public hearings, but in the state of Arizona, we have to have these, multiple public hearings and then separate adoptions. So tonight we've made it to the end of the adoption timeline. So if you choose to adopt the development fees tonight, you have a 75-day period before they actually go into effect. So that would be May 16th when the fees would actually go into effect if you decide to adopt tonight. Now the next slide, that should be the non-utility fees. So we're updating the public safety and street fees, but we are showing the parks and rec fees as well, which you adopted a couple of years ago, just so you have a better idea of the big picture of all the non-utility fees. And then on the next slide, this shows water and wastewater. Again, we're only looking at wastewater in this update. Water was adopted a couple of years ago, but again, we did want to show the fees or the total fees for each of the service areas. That's the final slide that I have, but I am available to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, if there are no questions or comments from council, we would like to request the adoption of the resolution before you adopting this development impact fees.
Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2022-001?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Galindo,
Second?
second by Councilman Roldan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, everyone.
Discussion and possible action relating to adjustments to personal time off per section 802 of the City of Somerton Personnel Policy Handbook 2020.
Mayor and council, on September 7th, we did present a personal time off presentation as far as the comments that were made from mayor and council in terms of looking at that very closely. Since then, we have met. We met on the 4th, and then obviously February 4th, and then obviously we met for our retreat. Within that retreat, mayor and council had several questions regarding this issue, but I don't know if chairwoman of the personnel committee would like to make any comments regarding this issue. Lorena Sendejas.
Mayor, we did meet the personnel committee and I twice regarding this issue, and at this time it has come in a consensus from all departments of the city to remain with the current personnel time off, personnel for personal time off as it is in their personnel handbook, if I'm not mistaken. We just feel that it's important that we leave the accrual time and their PTO time as is.
Thank you. Is there a question or comment from council?
I have a question, Mayor. And so as it is, what we're focusing more on the PTO when staff leaves, the percentage that's being paid, right?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was the entire policy in itself, not it wasn't just what was left.
So
or-
is it to remain at the 300 hours? Right?
Uh,
My memory serves me right.
No, it's at 400 and 550. Is that correct, Mr. Lozano?
Yes, the current policy allows regular employees to carry up to 400 hours of PTO and fire personnel up to 550.
And we also discussed that anybody that wishes to retire must give a year notice to their department head or HR in order for us to be able to budget that, or their department head to be able to budget it. But they must give a year notice in order to receive their 100% payout.
And they'll receive 100% after 20 years of service, is it?
After 10 years.
After 10 years?
Yes. After 10 years of service.
And how much do they receive in their first years? Like 0 to 5 years?
It's 0 to 3, it's 80, then 3 to 5 is 85, and then moves up after 5 to 8, 7, moves up to 90 and then 95, and then after 10 years it's 100%.
And I also want to make a comment that there's very little people in those years. The majority are below the 5 years, right? Armando? I think there's only 4 that are in the 20+ years.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? So motion by Councilwoman Garcia,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Sendejas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So hopefully we put this to rest and move on. So. Moving on to new business. Item number 1. Discussion and possible action to contract James Davey and Associates to perform engineering design services for new water treatment plant No.3, new water storage tank, booster pumps, and water well design project in the amount of $148,800.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. On November 2020, we presented to Council the engineering firms that submitted their proposals for engineering services and recommended James David and Associates, Nicholas Engineering, and Pace Engineering to be the selected engineering firms to enter the negotiations for future water and wastewater improvement projects. Currently, James David and Associates submitted a proposal for the above referenced project. We negotiate the proposal, and the proposed cost is to be $148,800. This design will include the master planning of the area to incorporate the design, the new water treatment plant, which is the plan number 3, new storage tank, which is going to be the 3rd tank, booster pumps, and new water well. These improvements will be designed and constructed on our public works yard. And for your information, some of the current solar panels will need to be removed. Mayor, Council, at this point, do you have any questions for me before our recommendation?
Any questions or comments? No questions for Jim. He's waiting to answer. Huh? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Council, Mayor and Council, for our recommendation for Mayor and Council is to approve the design proposal from James David and Associates with a total cost of $148,800 $800.
There a motion? The motion by Councilwoman Sendejas. Second by Councilwoman Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Summary of current events or future agenda items, we have executive session afterwards.
Mayor and Council, our early warning levels of concern came in today and non-detected. So it's great news. We're still at a level 2 of concern. The reason is because our last 2 were right on the borderline. I would consider them still the level 1 because they were so minimal, but because it one fluctuated at the level 2 and then dropped drastically to probably actually dropped to a level 1, but because of the test 2 last week of 2, that means that we stay 2 until we get another test. By Friday, we'll see if it continues at level 2 or 1. Also, I went to the Yuma Multiversity, actually took a trip to Tucson to visit a JTED High School and Pima College and discuss those issues in terms of economic development and discussing those issues with the industry leaders. So it was a great visit, something that we're going to be looking at carefully to bring into Yuma County, especially South County, at least concerned. Also, the HVAC CS panel has been installed, and hopefully next week we should have a meter for our community center after 25 years. Congratulations, Mayor and Council and staff. They did a great job. Thank you. And tomorrow, please don't forget ceremony of Cesar Chavez at 9 a.m. here in front of City Hall. Jesus Mesa.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Just want to report that Joe Munoz is currently closed until this Sunday, March 6th, due to maintenance projects. Also want to welcome Mr. Jonathan Harbid. He's currently on board as a new recreation specialist. He started on Saturday at the Graders Day event. And we are working on a list of assets right now and materials for potential retention areas that we're going to do zero landscaping for next fiscal year. And that's currently on the works. Thank you.
Chief Paul.
Mayor and Council, not much to report other than we are continuing to see an uptick once again in the motor vehicle collisions. And of course, Avenue G continues to be the main problem. We did have one accident yesterday. It was a single vehicle rollover, a guardian and her teenage, the person that she takes care of, and he got flown out to Barrows. So that was a very serious accident. But that's, other than that, for the fire department, it's the main thing. They were having a lot of motor vehicle accidents again.
Chief Juarez.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Reporting to you that we just have a graduate from the academy after 20 weeks, so I'll be presenting them here soon and other officers in the next council meeting. We also have our new animal control officer completing a 2-week course on basic and advanced certification for animal control. We've also are working on implementing, after the audit from DPS, we're working on implementing 2 additional they give us recommendations to make some modifications to our procedures. So we're working on that as well. So we're bettering our services to the community. Our officers continue to do walkthroughs of the schools as we grow our liaison program with the school district. And lastly, March 8th at 4 p.m. at the Somerton Library, the Humane Society of Yuma will be bringing forth a town hall to speak to our community members a little bit more and educate them on the community cats. Thank you.
Armando Leon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just briefly, would like to highlight a few of the open positions that we currently have open. We're currently recruiting actively for maintenance worker, 1 part-time administrative specialist in the finance department. That's a part-time position. 911 dispatcher, firefighter EMT full-time and part-time, firefighter paramedic full-time and part-time, police officer full-time, and those jobs are listed on our website at somertonac.gov.
Finance, Sarina.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm currently working on the budget, exploring all the increases that we may receive over the next fiscal year for any ASRS, PSPRS, as well as insurance. So those are the kinds of things that we're waiting on for now in getting the numbers together for the budgets, as well as getting that information out to our department heads. That's all I have. Thank you.
Community Development, Carmen.
Mayor and Council, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a meeting last night, and they, on the agenda was a request for a land use amendment in the general plan and also rezoning. This is for a parcel that is immediately adjacent to the west to the new elementary school. If this item is going to come back to you for final approval the first week in April. And if this is approved, it could potentially bring about 50 lots, residential lots, and an apartment complex of about 90 units. So that's a new process that is actually coming through the city department. Also, staff has received a request for a preliminary meeting for a potential residential development on the 90 acres of land just northeast of the golf course. On the northeast, we have 90 acres that they've been vacant for forever. So the request on that one will be potentially for residential development. So we are having a roundtable with staff, the different departments that are involved prior to having that pre-development meeting with the applicant. And hopefully that this meeting with the applicant will be sometime in the next future, in the next week or two. Also, staff will be publishing a request for qualification this week to find a consulting firm to initiate the zoning and subdivision code update. The goal is to initiate the code update no later than May of this year and hopefully finalize it before the end of this calendar year. Thank you.
Marlene Lara.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. 4 items. Old City Hall building has been showed several times for multiple reasons. One in terms for a lease, another one for a purchase. And this week I provided an RFP for a very interested buyer for lot number 5 at Parkview Commerce Center. As you know, there were 2 ribbon cuttings last week, one for Chicali Fish and Shrimp Food Truck, the other for El Buen Taquito Extra. There is a ribbon cutting coming on April 1st. It would be at Synergy Plaza, and this would be a barbershop.
Sam.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. An update on our Valley Vista Watermain extension project. Contractor continues with the pipe installation west of the main drain. Pipe has been installed from Cesar Chavez to Avenue G. Currently, K Contractors is working on the new bore under Avenue G. South Somerton Drainage Project, contractor completed the asphalt pavement along Bingham Avenue, Joshua, and Union Avenue. Now these roadways are open to the public. An update on our 1 million gallon water tank rehabilitation project. This is our second water tank. Mandatory previous meeting was performed last Thursday, to which 5 contractors attended. The bid opening will be this Thursday, March 3rd. And the last, our Union Avenue Street Reconstruction Project. And also the bid opening will be this Thursday, March 3rd. Thank you.
One more item, Mayor Council, 851 North Main Street has closed. It is our property now, which is right west of the community center. So we're working on a plan to get that cleaned up and use it for our needs. And that concludes, Mayor.
Okay. Councilwoman Garcia.
Reminder, next week we have another vaccine clinic, March 10th, same time, 3 to 6 at the Cultural Center in front of the library. I was able to attend both ribbon cutting ceremonies for, is it Chicali's and Buen Taquito. Also congratulate staff. I know weather didn't help a lot, but I thought Greater Days was a pretty successful event. Pretty sure the vendors would say different, but again, weather was an issue. But overall, I think it went very well. I also attended the YMPO meeting. New chair is Martin Porchas. Vice is Welton Mayor McCullough. And it was previously announced, but Mr. Ward retired. So I'll forward you the information on what was spoken about. Not a lot because everybody took a lot of time wishing Mr. Ward well. That's it.
Councilman Castillo.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilwoman Sendejas.
I also attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for Chicali and Buen Taquito. I would like to thank staff for giving these two businesses a great welcome to our city. I also attended the Greater Days, and I'd like to thank Brisa and her staff. They did a wonderful job, and as Councilwoman Garcia said, the weather didn't help, but I think the people that were there enjoyed themselves, and it was a great concert. I also attended the WACOG Executive Board meeting, and the new secretary for the WACOG, they had to replace the former Councilman Gonzalez that held the secretary position or job, is also the Welton Mayor McCullough. She took upon the secretary. That's it, Mayor.
Galindo. Roldan.
I have nothing, Mayor.
And I want to echo what Councilwoman said about the Somerton Greater Days. It was a great event, but it was too cold. The weather didn't allow it, but the music allowed for you to get closer to your couple. So that was and Vice Mayor and I participated in the Somerton Rotary golf tournament. We placed third as a team. On Friday with Forefronted, I'm gonna be in Mexicali for the Agro Baja. So we're gonna be there all day. And also I have a letter here from the Cocopa tribe that they're gonna donate $20,545 this year to the city of Somerton. And we have 4 items in executive session. The first item is discuss and consult with its representatives concerning negotiations for the purchase, sale, or lease of real property located at 110 North State Avenue, commonly known as Old City Hall. Item number 2 is discuss and consult with its representative concerning negotiations for purchase, sale, or lease of real property located at 346 West Main Street, commonly known as 85350 Sports Bar and Grill. Item number 3, discussion or consultation for legal advice with the Somerton City Attorney relating to the possible creation of code of ethics governing the conduct of elected officials and appointed officials. And item number 4, that's an addendum, is a discussion or consultations for legal advice with the Somerton City Attorney relating to all operations of the Cocopa Rio Colorado Golf Course, a facility owned by the Cocopa tribe and Arizona reservation located within adjacent to the city. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session? It's a motion by Councilwoman Sendejas. Second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break and then